I reject your deposit. We shook Dre's punk. Now we out of the closet. Eddie Hearn says, I reject your deposit. Teofimo ain't getting $10 million. We're going to talk about that on this. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest. Eddie Hearn rejects Teofimo Lopez Jr. and his demand for 10 million big ones. You guys see it on the screen. This is an article with DAZN, a company in which Eddie Hearn works with. Boom, boom, boom. We got some action. January 11th, Eddie Hearn said, like P. Diddy, He said, not going to happen. Matchroom promoter, rematch room, as I like to call it. Eddie Hearn is unwilling to make a fight between Teo and Devin, while the lightweight champ is demanding $10 million. Says Matchroom promoter Eddie Hearn has dismissed out of hand the possibility that Teo could be paid $10 million in a fight with Devin Haney. You guys see that? It says Haney is a WBC lightweight champion, Lopez WBO, WBA, IBF, and WBC, quote, franchise champion, which is highly confusing after he beat Lomachenko. The American fighter describes himself as the undisputed champ, but Hearn has contradicted those claims. Hearn explained in that interview, quote, I know Teofimo just bought a t-shirt range out, undisputed. I think he should call those back and change the logo. And ironically, this is what I've told you. But let me continue with Eddie Hearn and what he had to say, and then I'll school y'all. I did say to him, and this is my honest opinion, he should be undisputed. We shouldn't be in this position that we're in, but he's not undisputed because the other governing bodies do not recognize the franchise champion as someone that can unify. So the only way he could become undisputed, that's actually a good point. I think I said that previously too, but it's a good point, man. Teofimo is not undisputed, which, let me get through these quotes. Smash the like button. Get your popcorn. Stay tuned. And we gonna dive in. I'm about to do my Trey songs. So the only way he could become undisputed by fact and on paper is to fight Devin Haney. He deserves to be undisputed. He beat the #1 lightweight who used to be undisputed in Vasyl Lomachenko. Right? And that's not true though. Lomachenko wasn't undisputed because he didn't have the belt. Richard Comey had it, and then when he did the stanky leg and Teo got him out of there, then he got the belt. So Eddie Hearn's comment is not actually factual. He said he beat the #1 lightweight, which, you know, you could say Lomachenko's the #1. That part's cool. But he says who used to be undisputed in Lomachenko. That's not true. Lomachenko, the belt that eluded him was the belt that was still on the top rank side, but it was that WBO belt. And Richard Comey had it. He, you know, fought an elimination fight and then fought in a title fight, knocked this dude out, and then Teo came in and knocked him out. So Lomachenko never captured that belt. He had to fight Teofimo. Remember, Lomachenko told Teofimo to get a belt to begin with, and then he'll consider him. Teo went out and did that, and then that's why they fought. So Lomachenko was never undisputed in any division he's been in. And keep in mind, until he got in the weakest division, which is now popping, but I'm talking about when he arrived, lightweight, that's the only division where he chose to go after more than one belt. Clever top-ranked matchmaking, as I've always told you. Like, at 130, if he wanted to be undisputed at the time, he would have had to fight Machado, a big puncher, and a guy who's big, Miguel Berchelt, another big puncher, big guy at the division, and Gervonta Tank Davis. But he didn't fight none of those fights at that division. He didn't fight none of them. And then all of a sudden he moves up, and the only relevant people at 135 were the up and coming kids, you know what I'm saying? The younger generation, the Ryan Garcias, Tanks, Teos, Devins, right? Those were the names, and they were still working on their journey, and now they're getting to that point where the lightweight division is shaping out. But when Loma first got there, that's why he was fighting Pedrazas and stuff like that. And Jorge Linares, I mean, he's cool, but he has like mental lapses, like where he could be mentally broken. That's what I've seen in fights. Anyway, there's plenty of speculation over who Lopez should fight next, but he and his father have been open in their demands to be well compensated. Hearn would be open to Lopez versus Haney fight, but thinks the demands being made are unrealistic. Ironically, I've said all of this. Quote, I think Teo Lopez against Haney is a wonderful fight. Listen, Teofimo asked me for $10 million for that fight. You can't get there, but I'm sure we can make him a nice offer. Teofimo is a nightmare at the moment for Bob Arum, and Bob isn't mincing his words at the moment. He's had enough. So saying I want a $5 million minimum, I want 8, I want 9, I want 10. So right now, I'll leave that to Bob and Top Rank to put out those numbers or to put those numbers together, because in this world right now, it ain't going to happen, end quote. Listen, this is the same thing that I've said. Now, I don't just agree with Eddie Hearn just to be agreeing with him. There's plenty that we disagree on. But when it comes to the case of Teofimo, we don't disagree on that, because Teofimo, I mean, I know the saying goes, you don't get what you're worth, you get what you negotiate. It sounds good, but you're not going to get $10 million in a pandemic to probably fight Devin Haney. Because first of all, you look at it, that's not even a Ryan Garcia. There's no way. Listen, I like both Teo. I like all these dudes at the lightweight division. Pause. But there's no way that Teo versus Devin is bigger than Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Davis, in my opinion. In my opinion. I think Davis is the cash cow, Tank clearly the cash cow. So 10 million, and you might not be able to put it on pay-per-view because DAZN doesn't have like an adequate setup pay-per-view at the moment. And if ESPN didn't put the Lomachenko fight on pay-per-view, rest in peace to Kobe, Nip, and Pac, right? If they didn't put that fight, which is the anticipated fight that people were checking for, if they didn't put that on pay-per-view, then who knows what would happen with the Devin Haney Teofimo. Again, there's a difference between a good fight and something that is a must see on pay-per-view. You get what I'm saying? Like Terrence Crawford versus Victor Postal. That was a much needed unification, and it would have been better suited or better served on regular HBO. They put it on pay-per-view. So, you know, there's good fights, but not all good fights equal pay-per-view revenue in dollars. That's the point. So, you know, Teofimo, he's entitled to, he's a grown man. He's entitled to believe what he wants to believe, but he seems gassed up and souped up because he beat Lomachenko, which is a good victory. You know, I even picked him before the fight to beat Lomachenko. But like Eddie Hearn saying, like I've been saying, a lot of what he said since that point, some of those expectations are pretty unrealistic, you know, at least to me. You could think you're Pacquiao or Canelo now and get that. So good luck with that. But the bad side for him is he's aligned with Bob Arum and Top Rank. And we know Bob Arum will say it like this. He knows how to budget. Bob Arum knows how to budget. He's been in the game very long. He can kind of forecast. He's a smart man, you know what I'm saying? So he could forecast somebody's worth or how much, like, you know, he can do an appraisal on the value or the valuation of the fight or how much he thinks he's going to get with the fight like that, things like that. And then decipher how much his company will get versus how much he's willing to outpay for the fighter, things like that. So at the end of the day, I don't see Bob Arum, this is just my opinion, ego, I don't see Bob Arum taking kindly and obliging to these Teofimo demands. Like, when have you known Bob Arum to be giving anyone outside of Pacquiao probably a $10 million purse for anybody? You know, you think Beterbiev and Vaultstick, that was a very good unification, which turned out to be a very good fight. Do you think either of them got anything close? Do you think they even got 5 million? So he's feeling himself, but you got to look at that. Like, if anything, I would say he has a better chance being on PBC, getting some of the higher end money that he's demanding, because we know PBC has dabbled in and have consistently approached the pay-per-view market, and realistically they have experimented with it. Top Rank in ESPN in terms of boxing, not the UFC, but in terms of boxing, they only have one pay-per-view to their name in the last year or two, the last several years, and that was Terrence Crawford versus Amir Khan, which I believe flopped. So without teasing these pay-per-views and kind of testing the market, how would you even know what a fight would do? You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like they have that data. They don't have that data to discern and decipher how much Teofimo can really generate on pay-per-view. That's not even really their lane, if you really think about it. If I'm wrong, tell me another ESPN Top Rank pay-per-view outside of Terrence Crawford. And he's what I would consider someone a bit more established. Like, he's been in front of eyes and had some type of exposure and in front of cameras and known about longer than Teofimo. So they haven't really turned him into a pay-per-view star. And you think because you beat Lomachenko because it's a good win, that makes you a celebrity overnight, like Kanye, Jamie Foxx, and Twista. But that I could make you a celebrity overnight. Like, it's not really how it works. You know, it's not how it works at all. And it wasn't even, the performance was good, but he started losing some of the later rounds, and then he won the 12th. I thought he won the fight for sure, but it wasn't a type of like devastating knockout or something to the point where it's like, oh man, the whole world is on notice, and the outcome was so flashy that, you know, it just took you to another level. You know what I mean? Took you, like, you know how like Marquez was revered after he knocked out Pacquiao, especially in Mexico. They looked at him like he was the one, you know. This was a nice workman-like performance versus Lomachenko. And now he's saying he's not doing the rematch. So I agree with Eddie Hearn. I don't really see Teofimo getting the amount of money that he wants, despite the performance, and getting 10. He's asking for 10 million for Kambosos or Devin Haney. I don't know. How you gonna get 10 million versus Devin, but you think you'll get 10 for Kambosos too? You know, so I think you got to study up on the business. So you can say what you want, but I'm telling you what I know and what I feel to be the truth. You have Eddie Hearn, who's been in the business since a child, been around the business since he was young. And you have Leonard Ellerbe, who's helped promote some of the biggest fights. Obviously, the biggest fighter of my generation, Floyd Mayweather and Mayweather Promotions. And Leonard Ellerbe, I made a video about it. He just recently said that Teo is delusional. So one of us got to be lying and not being realistic. And I don't think it's me, Ellerbe, or Eddie Hearn and Bob Arum. Let me know what you guys think in this video. Eddie Hearn said he ain't getting that 2 milli. 2 milli. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, is Ego signing off.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.